Welcome to my viewers around the globe in 168 countries. I'd like to give a warm welcome to my new subscribers. We had a video about Chesley Christ, Miss USA, and it attracted a lot of interest. So I want to thank everyone for watching. Today I actually want to talk about real-life princesses. And specifically, I'd like to profile Princess CHARLENE of Monaco, who's been going through some challenges in the last couple of years. As an executive coach, a career coach, a life coach, I like to really get involved in people's biographies and really understand their hopes, their dreams, their challenges, and what makes them tick. Typically, when you meet a princess, they are highly accomplished women in their own right. And in the case of Princess CHARLENE, she was an athlete in the Olympics. She had won swimming medals, had a very successful career, gone all the way to the Olympics, and that's actually where she met Prince Albert of Monaco. Now, Prince Albert of Monaco was the son of the famous actress Grace Kelly. You know, many of us love so many of her movies. One of my favorites was To Catch a Thief with Cary Grant, just a classic movie set in the beautiful south of France. And then The Swan, I believe, was one of her last movies she filmed, along with High Society. So there were a lot of people interested in Prince Albert of Monaco and who he was going to marry. He is one of the richest royals, a billionaire. There were some rumors that Princess CHARLENE, who was from South Africa, had tried to head back to South Africa and not get married to him. Now, as far as I'm concerned, those were only rumors. And, you know, there are some gossipy type people, and I try and stay away from that. So, you know, let's assume that she wanted to enter into this marriage. They had dated for a long time. She had actually lived in Monaco, and so she had to sort of be trained in what life was going to be like as a royal. And eventually they did decide to get married. And they had two children, twins actually, a boy and a girl, who are now, I believe they just celebrated their 8th or 9th birthday. So they're growing up, going to school. And Princess CHARLENE found herself in a situation where she had headed back to South Africa, where she's from and where she grew up. She has a foundation, and she wanted to spend some time back in South Africa working on her foundation for animal rights. And unfortunately, according to reports, she found herself in a health situation because she had contracted something that was an ear, nose, and throat related infection. And we were told that she had to have several surgeries and that she could not get back to Monaco. I mean, it was for at least 6 months. It was quite a shock to a lot of people because, you know, when you are a princess of in a royal household, it's unusual to be gone for that long from, you know, your family. And the children stayed behind for the most part. Prince Albert and the two children did come to visit her. From what I heard, she was renting a house in South Africa, a large home. She had her own family either staying with her or nearby. But it was, you know, a lot of time away from the royal household. And she started to post Instagram photos. And one thing that everyone noticed, her fans included, was that she was getting very thin and not looking well. And so many people were concerned about her health. And she had gotten this sort of unusual haircut right before she left. And there was a lot of gossip about that. It was one of those things where it's shaved on one side of the head and not the other. Now, you know, there are sort of those punk type looks that are more European, but it's a quite unusual haircut for a royal. And it coincided with a report that her husband had fathered another illegitimate child, but this time while they knew each other. And so I think that, you know, possibly it was related to that shock. And I think that when you enter into a marriage with a prince, there are a lot of things that are very shocking, really. The amount of power they have, the amount of money they have, the freedom that they have with women. And, you know, I think that Princess Diana, as an example, when she was alive, took it very hard that, you know, Prince Charles had these other relationships with other women. The common thread with both Princess Diana and Princess Charlene is that they both married men that were quite a bit older than they were. Now, in Princess Charlene's case, her husband was actually 20 years older, I believe, than her. So that's quite an age difference. When I first started dating in New York, I actually had graduated from graduate school, got my MBA, moved to New York. And I worked in the television business initially. And so I actually dated, the first guy who asked me out was a television host who was 21 years older than I was. It can be very glamorous dating a high-profile person, whether it's a TV anchor or a prince, or a CEO for that matter. I have dated CEOs as well. The thing is they can, you know, get a table at any restaurant. They often travel in town cars, or the driver is sent over. You are treated in some ways in a very different style. I went to the theater with him, a couple of Broadway openings. We sat, you know, near Dan Rather one night and at a benefit party. And there were some really interesting events that I attended. I did later on meet someone who was closer to my age, just 10 or 11 years older, and that ended up being a very long-term relationship. I think, you know, once you go beyond 7, 8, 10 years, you're in a different generation, and I think that there are more issues that pop up. Now, in the case of Princess Charlene, she did get married to Prince Albert. Her life changed. She had children. But it wasn't all so glamorous, according to what I've read and watched a number of videos about her as well. Being a princess in Monaco, first of all, it's a very small space, about the size of Central Park in New York. And it's, you know, very well-to-do. And there are a lot of people there that are very powerful. And she came from, you know, another country and didn't come from that kind of background. So I think she needed, in her own words, she needed to learn how to dress the part. And, you know, she had to make some changes to her wardrobe and how she looked and fashion and learn things that she hadn't learned yet. So she needed to learn to speak French better. There were all kinds of things she needed to learn. And so through that experience, I think she realized, in one video, she said she had, you know, just a couple of people that she considered close friends in Monaco. The rest would be acquaintances. I think it took her a long time to really feel comfortable there. And I'm not sure to what extent she felt really comfortable there. But, you know, the years went by. They did have the children soon after the marriage, a year or two after. So they were married. They just celebrated their 10-year anniversary. She was not there, however, for the anniversary. She was back in South Africa. And that was a big question mark to sort of the gossip magazines, like, well, where is Princess Charlene? Well, she was back in South Africa, she said, because of a ENT infection, and she said she couldn't travel on airplanes. Of course, everyone was wondering, well, if you can't travel on an airplane, I mean, you are married to a prince, you could take a boat over. I mean, there are ways to travel beyond air. And so we never quite figured out, you know, why it was a 6-month separation. He did come visit her, but for short visits, and he carried on his role in Monaco as the prince. He had a lot of responsibilities there, and the children stayed in school in Monaco. So it was a bit of a surprise. Then one day she came back. She was flown back on a private jet with a dog, actually, that she had acquired. We heard also through her Instagram that one of her dogs had gotten run over, her little puppies, and that was just so, like, shocking. We don't even know how it happened. Then she arrived with this much bigger dog off the airplane, landing in Monaco, or landing in probably Nice airport or near Monte Carlo. And we find out that she then goes back to the palace, presumably, and within a day or two, it was announced that she was not going to be living at the palace yet, and she was going to be going somewhere else. And then we found out through both her family members and also Prince Albert's statements that she was going to go to Switzerland to receive some kind of treatment. Now, some people said sleeping pill addiction. Some people said exhaustion. We don't really know what was going on there, but we know that she was in very poor physical health, and she looked exhausted, and she was incredibly thin. I mean, she was always very attractive, but she had a 5'10" frame, and she had lost a significant amount of weight during her illness. Some people said she even almost died during these surgeries in South Africa. So I also question why was the medical care done in South Africa? Do they have the best hospitals? I don't really know the answer to that, but I was a little bit surprised she didn't come back to Europe for some of these surgeries or treatments. And then she disappeared, and we haven't really heard a lot more, other than there have been some postings on special occasions or birthdays, and she is in this treatment facility in Switzerland, and she is resting and getting better. And we also heard a side note story that she had developed a friendship with a billionaire who used to date Naomi Campbell, the supermodel. And he is a Russian billionaire. We understand, if the stories are true, that she is friends with him. Now, we don't know if it's a close friendship or they were acquaintances. We know they have been photographed together, but usually with Prince Albert or Naomi Campbell. So we don't know that they have any other relationship other than maybe, put out a phone call to see if she needed anything. Friends would do that, of course. But everyone's ears sort of perked up, like, what does this mean? When a Russian billionaire is calling a princess. So we're in a situation now where we're waiting for Princess Charlene to reappear in Monaco. We have been told by some royal watchers, they call them royal experts, but we don't really know who these people are. Some of them have been quoted by name, that if she does come back, which they believe she will, that she will probably enter in slowly back into royal life. She didn't have a lot of commitments. I mean, she didn't have nearly as many commitments as some of the royals in England, where they sign up for all kinds of charities and events. But she certainly did attend a lot of black tie parties. That's very popular in Monaco and Monte Carlo. There's, of course, the casino, the Red Cross Ball, different sporting events, and ceremonies, religious ceremonies. And so we do await, her return, if that is what is going to happen. Of course, we all wonder also what the state of the relationship actually is. We do know that she was told, or at least we have read, that she was told that if she produced heirs to the monarchy, that she would be able to leave if the marriage didn't work out. And I've seen reports that, she has negotiated some kind of prenuptial where she's worth at least 100 million by now. It has been 10 years of marriage. He is a billionaire, and therefore she doesn't, need to stay in the marriage for money at this point, if that is true, if that is all factually true. And however, we hope that she's happy with her marriage and that she will return if that is the case and be with her children. But we've also heard rumors that she was living in a 2-bedroom flat above a chocolate factory part-time in Monaco to be away from the palace. Some people believe that that's not true, but we have read that. And, maybe she just didn't like palace life and she wanted some time and space. And I want to get back to the point of being a highly sensitive person, which I focused in a lot in my Chesley Christ video. So if you don't know about being highly sensitive, it's 20% of people. It's a perfectly natural trait. And interestingly, a lot of princesses are highly sensitive people. The Princess of Wales, Diana, was also a highly sensitive person. That's very clear to me. And therefore, I believe Princess Charlene is as well. And we can see this all, showing itself in the way that they are, treated not necessarily very kindly by the royal households. And then they fall into very difficult circumstances and depression, anxiety, whatever they may have. We know in the case of Princess Diana, it led to bulimia and eating disorder. And in the case of Princess Charlene, whether it's from the surgery or from being highly sensitive and not liking the climate of the royal household, she clearly is in a position where she is not at her peak of health. And for an Olympic swimmer, that is unusual. You would think that she would be able to maintain her health. She is young, she's in her 40s. Prince Albert is now in his 60s. And I think that this is a key moment in their relationship. Will it, continue for another, 20 years, or will there be some changes? And that's what, I think everyone is waiting to see. My advice to Princess Charlene is to heal yourself. Take time to get better in every way, physically and mentally and emotionally. And, don't make any quick decisions. But she had a lot of time to think about this in South Africa, and maybe her decisions have already been made. But I was watching a Grace of Monaco movie the other night, actually. It was a movie that I found on YouTube Free Movies, and Nicole Kidman was starring as Grace of Monaco. And it was a slice of her life when she was upset in her marriage to her Prince Rainier. And it was a time when she was considering going back into being an actress. That wasn't going over well with the people of Monaco. So she was kind of at a crossroads, and she got some counseling from a priest and some other friends. And basically, ultimately, she decided to stick with her role of being the Princess of Monaco. And she decided to take that opportunity for that to be her stage, if you will, because she had all these wonderful glamorous skills. And if she then viewed Monaco as her stage, she was able to use her creative skills, her acting skills, her speaking skills, and her talents to do good things for Monaco. So that's what she decided. We know that, the marriage had its ups and downs, and she spent a lot of time at her country retreat up on the mountain, and then sadly was in a car accident one day with her younger daughter, and we lost Princess Grace. But I think for Princess Charlene, she will need to decide if there is a future for her here in Monaco, or if it's just not a fit for her skills and talents. She may decide to do something else. She, may be young enough that she could meet someone else and have a whole nother marriage. We don't really know what her mindset is, but it's kind of a critical time for her, being in her sort of early to mid 40s. This would be sort of kind of her last chance to look for another husband, if that's what's on her mind. Having said that, she may take the approach that she likes being the Princess of Monaco, and she wants to be with her children on a day-to-day basis, and that's certainly a key driver for a lot of mothers. And we'll have to see what happens here. I think that for everyone, we can't judge or criticize other people's decisions because we're not walking in their shoes. So we don't know what her marriage is like on a day-to-day basis. All we know is that she needs some time to heal. And, we see a lot of very prominent women walk away from marriages to high-profile people, whether it be the Princess of Wales. Diana decided to get a divorce. In fact, a lot of divorces occurred in the royal family, sadly, in that generation. People have made decisions that they can't take marriages anymore. And we've seen people divorce, top CEOs because, they were philanderers. And this has really been going on a lot lately. It's very sad. It would be nice to think that everyone could be faithful to their spouse and that marriages could last, 65 years. So I think we need to just, say to everyone, we wish the best for people in these positions, because it's not easy. Although it may look very glamorous being a woman married to a prince or being married to a CEO, oftentimes you actually lose your own identity because you're not allowed to speak freely about what you think. You're not allowed to be on a lot of social media. You can't do tweets. You can do, some Instagram posts, but those are just a few photos. And a lot of it is regulated by royal households. So it's hard to really know what is really going on behind the scenes. But in this case, I think we see a lot of sadness in her face. We have seen it for a number of years. And we don't know if maybe the media is putting photos out there that are always sad because, they're in on this. I don't always trust the mainstream media. And therefore, we have to really wait for Princess Charlene to talk to us. And I hope that she would be willing to do some kind of interview when she returns to public life. I would love to interview Princess Charlene. I would be honored to have that interview. I'm a very sensitive person myself, a highly sensitive person. I like to get into people's hearts and minds and really, in a careful and sensitive way, understand what motivates them, what their goals are, and make an interview that they like. I mean, I always let people edit their interviews. I'm not interested in, surprising anyone. And I feel that, with my interview show, it's called Leaders with a Heart, I really want to get more messages out there of kindness, appreciation, positive energy. And I think by profiling women, women's lives, whether it be women that are no longer with us, such as Princess Diana or Chesley Christ, or profiling women like Princess Charlene of Monaco or Kate Middleton, Princess Catherine of England, whoever, I think it's important that we profile women who have a lot of power through their voice. And I would like to see women have a stronger voice, not just what they're supposed to say, but what they really think. And that's something that I'm very good at helping to develop in communication skills. So if anyone would like to talk further about my executive coaching or communications coaching or career coaching, please let me know. In the meantime, I'm delighted to welcome my guests from around the world, and we wish all of our best wishes to Princess Charlene of Monaco as she heals, and we look forward to hearing from her very soon. I worked in New York for over 18 years in executive search. I also am an executive coach now based in Florida. And I do a lot of my coaching remotely, so I can do that via phone call or video call. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Don't forget to press the bell so that you get all the videos. And I look forward to my next video with all of you. Thanks so much for watching. I'm Sandra Rupp, and I was placed on the Thinkers 50 Guru Radar list for the world's top business thinkers. Welcome to the art of 21st century career navigation. We're ready for Davos. I'd like to give a warm welcome to my viewers around the globe. Welcome to the #1 happiest, healthiest city in the USA.